Alright, it's Sunday after church, and I'm just back from eating lunch with some friends. I know it's hard to believe I got friends, but I do have some. A few. But it's much nicer outdoors, so I'm going to open this door here and let it warm up. And yeah, I drove that. Can you blame me? And the man who left a deposit on the International Travelall came and picked it up this morning. So that's gone. So I sold 3. You know what that means? I think it's like 2 o'clock. So I probably won't get a whole bunch done today. We'll see what I get into here. I've gone about as far as I can on that until I get my other parts. Maybe I'll rebuild the power steering pump or finish the rest of my 2-fold drop. Hey, look, I think I got that screwdriver from Chevaholic. It's this kind of screwdriver, kind of foo-foo-y. You know, I've decided you can't win with a teenager. I went in there and I said, "Hey girl, you want to work on your carburetor on your truck?" She said, "No, I'm cleaning my room." Oh, excuse me. Alright, I got my workbench cleared off spotless. And I'm going to pull this power steering pump off. And I think I'm going to fool with that a while. Alright, got the power steering pump turned upside down. Words. Them are kind of unwieldy things. Anyways, trying to drain most of the oil out of it so I don't have such a big mess. But y'all know I ain't scared of a mess. Now this will be my first time tearing apart a power steering pump. Usually I just throw another one on because I got one, but I want to rebuild it just to see if I can. I think I have a pulley puller somewhere. Let me dig it up. Alright, it took some time, but I think I found it. That didn't work.
What?
I said that didn't work. I wasn't able to blow any dust off. Alright, this thing here works pretty simple. You see that? Pulley's got a little groove right there. It comes with 2 halves. You stick them in there like so. And then once you're doing that, this is not a system designed to do when you're running a camera with one. See how it fits in there like that. And that little slips over there. And it all stays together and pulls that off as long as it's not seized on there. So I'm going to work on it a little bit and see what happens. I may need to heat that up, but let me see. I don't know what that racket is in the background. Do you?
I was wondering what that was.
Yeah, so was I. Alright, there it is all set up. And I got some tools here. I'm going to see how it does. I bet you I fight with it a little bit. Alright, I give it a fair amount of pressure, but she ain't moving with the force I can provide with a 1/2 inch wrench. So I'm going to fire up the torch, heat that up, and that should enable me to get it off. Alright, just as I suspected, this thing's fighting me. I done heated it up and it ain't come loose yet. It's about like a teenager. I bet you that thing's 18 years old.
Is it?
I don't know, it's older than that. But it's still a pain. Alright, let's see what kind of damage I did with my heavy-handed methods. I had to heat it up a bunch of times. Tore up the end of the shaft, as Mrs. Heavy Chevy so helpfully pointed out. You know what kind of gal she is? Let me tell you. She's been around me a long time. And I'll paint a car or something, and she'll come in. Oh my gosh, did you see that bug in the paint? Did you notice you've got a run over here? Uh-oh, the plastic blew into the side of the car.
What else did you want me to tell you?
She just helpfully turned the radio off. You know, I told her, if you're going to be out here, you got to make yourself useful. That's what I had said. Alright, I've got the bolts out here. If I can wiggle waggle it out, I might have to put the camera down. Notice I'm wearing gloves?
I noticed. I wondered why.
It's because I want to keep my hands soft and supple.
Interesting.
She didn't believe that. Okay. Now we just need to take these two bolts here out, I think, and then the reservoir will pop off. And then we'll see what else we see up inside there. I guess, much like skin, these gloves will tear. Anyways. If I did this right, I prized on that a little bit to try to get it loose. Now I gotta put my greasy hand on the camera. And this should come right off. And it did, and I spilled oil all over the floor, but alright, let me take this off the vise and investigate and see what I see here. Oh, I forgot to mention, there's a nut that goes right there you gotta get off. And behind that nut is that stuff. Which would go in that hole right there. But let me take this apart and see what it looks like. I've never had one apart. How hard could it be? Alright, here's a few things I observe. Got an O-ring there. There's a couple little check balls trying to squeak through right there and there. And then we're here. There's a magnet with some schmutz on it. So, I think what I'm going to do before I go much further, you know, I believe in winging it. Look at that. Hope you don't notice there's grease on my hands inside the gloves. I'm going to go see if I got a book that tells me something about this. Alright, I got distracted here. I went over and found a book, and here's Auto Parts Associates from February 22nd, 1980. Somebody bought something for $8.74, and they got two of them. Tax on $17.48 was 70 cents. Anyways, that's interesting. I hated to tell her to do that, but she was scratching my back. I had to tell her to go turn the radio down. I didn't know this. There's a hole right there. You stick a punch in it, pop that little snap ring out, and get your screwdriver behind it right quick. Isn't that handy? Alright, I found a book. It ain't precisely the same pump, but it's pretty similar. And I'll take it apart and see what I see. Certainly be faster going on the parts store and buy a reman and put it on there, which is what I might wind up doing anyhow. Boy, somebody had their thinking cap on when they thought of that. They were slicker than heck. Couple taps there. Popped up there, stuck my little screwdriver behind it, and pried it right out. Yeah, I'm proud of that guy. Okay, now back to work. Turn the radio back on. Alright, this is the vane style pump. It's got little vanes that go in there, and it works that way. I tried to keep it all together, but it was a vain effort. Alright, I forgot how much that rebuild kit cost, but it's like $10-12 or something. And it comes with everything you need, it looks like. It don't come with vanes, but I don't know as I need them. I need that new bushing, which is kind of buggered up from when I popped that out. And the seal, which is where it was leaking. And all the O-rings. So I think I can save this and put it back together for $12. The question is, this took me a little time and effort and some learning. Is it worth that for you, or just go buy one? Probably the answer for me would be go buy one, but I like to see if I can do stuff. Right?
Yeah. So this.
I tried to see if I could get her, and I did. Would you like to pose that question one more time?
This shaft.
Yes, it is.
You have a replacement?
No. I just need to clean that up.
I was gonna
See,
say,
I kind of boogered up the end of it, but that's alright. We can clean that up. There's threads in there, which I'm going to need to get the pulley back on. I'll just have to clean them up with
It's
a
not
tap.
gonna hurt. This is the outside of the shaft is the only part that's important. You just, as long as it's smooth, it doesn't matter that it's
No, the pulley press fits on here.
So this really doesn't matter. That it's
Not so
boogered,
much,
like
as long as
lopsided.
as long as I can get a tap and clean up those threads in there, so I can pull the pulley back on. I'll be all right. I think. All right, a 16 millimeter Napa socket works pretty good to slip in there and drive the bushing out with. One time. She's over here cackling. She says it wasn't one time. Not exactly. You can use that to make a turkey or something.
I don't know why you would make a turkey out of
I
that.
don't either, but you've done some stuff I don't know why you do either, so. Alright, utilizing my parts washer and a parts cleaning brush, I've cleaned this thing up pretty well. I've cleaned this up. I run some crocus cloth on there and got a few burrs off and ran a tap in there. So I think everything is going to be okay there. I haven't cleaned any of that stuff. I'm not going to rebuild the whole thing tonight because I got other stuff to do. But I'm going to try to put that bushing bearing in place and maybe this seal here.
I know that I point things out, but what about them little gouges right there?
That's just where I ground the burr off and it'll be okay. It's a press fit. Now that'd be different if it was a seal riding on it or a bearing, but it's not. Once the pulley goes on there, slides on there, it stays there. It doesn't move at all.
Okay.
Alright, I put the bushing in. I started to tap it in with the what is this? A 19 millimeter socket. But I decided if I hammered on it too much, it wouldn't be good. So I took it over to the press and pressed it rest of the way in, which worked out very nicely.
Isn't that the
Now I'm going to put the seal in it.
more proper way to do it?
It's the better way. Alright, I decided I'm going to put this thing mostly together since I'm right here and I'm apt to forget what's what anyways. I need to take that O-ring out before I forget is what I need to do. But anyways, I'm putting the vanes in and I'm using a trick my dad taught me. Just take a little grease and put on there. It's hard. I'm not left-handed normally. And then slip it in there and the grease will hold it in place while you assemble the parts. And what were you saying a minute ago?
So it seems like it's just handy for you to have me out here.
You would think it would be. She'd be handier if she didn't mind getting her hands dirty. Alright, here's what I'm going to show you.
Well, I don't mind if I have gloves.
Here's the vanes. What they do is, as this thing spins, they push out right up tight there, and that forces the oil into this cavity, and then it goes through the hole, one of the holes, which winds up pushing it to the pressure side of the pump. Now that's a very basic generic description, but that's how it works. And those vanes just kind of float around.
So it won't matter that there's...
You see a fuel transfer pump in the back of a construction truck? It's got vanes in it like that, as a rule. Alright, Mrs. Heavy Chevy mostly, and I helped her put this power steering pump together. So the pump itself is rebuilt. Now we just got to put it in the reservoir.
That's funny. I didn't even know it was a power steering pump. We were working on it.
At least she's not vain. And then I need to put the pulley on. But that'll be a battle for another day. I need to, before I call it quits, I need to disassemble this stuff. It won't take me very long because it's just all kind of mocked together. And I'm going to take it down to the turbo peoples. And I'm going to tell them to rebuild me a turbo. They can balance it and all that. I could do it myself, but you know what? Sometimes you better just let somebody who knows what they're doing do it. I think I could probably do it and it would work. But
This
I'm
is
not,
a competition and we're in it to win it.
I'm running out of time too, so so I got to get it done. And anyways, I don't think we'll be ruining any drag racing part of the competition. Because he's got a 5-speed and 2 turbos and a supercharger. Probably nitrous, knowing him.
I could see that, but he'll probably break something.
But that's what I'm counting on. Because my old buddy, he knows how to test parts. He should have been at R&D at GM.
God, Milky One, we love you.
I remember one time I bought a 4-wheeler. It was a Yamaha Blaster. I got the payment book. I hadn't had one page out of it. I picked it up, borrowed somebody's truck, drove it to where we was at, and he says, "Hey man, let me take it for a ride." I said, "Yeah, be careful with it though. I just got it." And you hear him, "Yeah, sure, no problem." He takes off and you hear, "Wah, wah, 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 wah." He comes flying across there, and we'd been jumping across the old car hood leaned up on 2 wooden blocks. And he hit it in 5th or 6th gear or something wide open. And it was Got Milky One and 4-wheeler at the other end. Blew out the shock on my brand new 4-wheeler.
Aww.
But he was okay. I know y'all were concerned about that. Alright, I gotta quit fooling with this. I got to get stuff done here. I got other stuff to do. But I just can't help it, you know, you get on a roll. Alright, let me pull the turbo off this thing. It reminds me of another story. His dad had a 1972 Volvo station wagon. And I think they had put a motor in it out of a 68, which had 2 Stromberg carburetors on it. Now this car was slower than slow. And we were out riding around one evening. And I was driving. I don't know why I drove about half the time. But anyways, I was driving and...
Probably because you didn't trust him to break something.
I was driving and...
Not to break.
Anyways, I lost my train of thought. I was driving. And I noticed it was accelerating less rapidly than normal. In fact, it was so bad we were slowing right down. So I said, "Hey man, I think the throttle linkage broke off." So I worked on that thing so much they had race car pins on it so you could take the hood off. We took the hood off, stuck it back on the luggage rack. He climbed up under the hood, the throttle linkage had broke, and was going to run the throttle linkage from up there. So we're riding along, it's down an old dirt road in the middle of the night. We're riding along, and he's sitting up there on the motor, wide open. He's always wide open, which luckily for us wasn't very fast in a 1972 Volvo station wagon.
Yep.
So he's wide open, we're riding along, and I see this bunch of deer coming from the left, and they're coming. So I'm hollering at him. He's just sitting up there singing. He loves to sing. He's smoking a cigarette, singing. And I'm hollering. He can't hear me because the old car didn't have much exhaust. And he's out there on the engine riding. So I'm on the brakes. I get on the brakes. I don't want to hit him too hard and throw him off. But he noticed them deer about the time they come right in front of us. And that last one, he could have reached out and said, "Hey, Bambi, how you doing?" So, he saw those deer and he plastered himself back against the windshield and hung on for dear life. And we didn't hit a one of them, but it was that close.
Somebody was looking out for you too.
I reckon. Alright, story time's over. Let me get this thing apart. Alright, I made quick work of that. Tore it all apart. Pretty sure that's how we're rolling. Hopefully the turbo guys don't charge me a fortune. I've got the cartridge I'm going to use wrapped up nice and pretty here in the housings so they can check and make sure it's clearanced. And there I've thought about this correctly and the whole 9 yards. And I'm going to take it to them. I'm going to say, "Take my money." Well, I'm not really going to say that. First, I'm going to beg and plead. I'm just a poor hot rod guy. And then second, I'm going to say, and they won't care, and then they'll say, "Give me your money." Or something.
Sounds about right.
Alright, I'm going to ring the bell. That's it. Don't forget to go to MrHeavyChevy.com. Buy something she made, an owl most recently.
Yeah, I'll put that
And
up.
try to encourage her so she'll come out every once in a while, like every 2-3 months or something, and make one more.
It's been cold.
It's been cold.
I don't like cold.
It's been down in the 50s, in the 40s even.
Yeah.
And that's terrible. I can't work in these conditions. Hope nobody up there in Connecticut or something laughs at you.
They probably will, but.
Alright, you can't hear them from here? Alright.
I ain't seen the video yet.
Alright. That's all I got to say. Goodbye. See you next week.